Hey everyone, welcome to Get Your Play Online. My name is Jyoti and today we're going to be learning how to make origami. So some of you may know origami is the art of folding a paper a bunch of times so that you can make some creative designs. So today we're going to be learning how to make an origami boat and a lantern. So this is kind of what your finished product will look like. It'll look a little bit bigger than that. But this I made out of an old magazine. Similarly, here's another design just to give y'all an idea of what it'll look like. That's our boat. And here is a little lantern, so that's what we're going to be making. And here's some other shapes just to show you what the lantern will look like. I know you can't really see the folds well with the white, but you can probably see a little bit better with that one. And similarly, this one I made out of a Post-it, so really you can do origami with anything. But today, to get started, we are going to use a giant piece of paper. You're going to need this big size piece of paper. So what you're going to do is go ahead and come on and rip on that big piece of paper. No, I'm kidding. You really don't need that big of a piece of paper. All that you really need today is you can reuse printer paper. That works just perfect. But if you have some fun construction paper that you want to use, that would work too. If you have an old magazine or newspaper lying around, that would work just as fine. But make sure you ask Mom and Dad if it's okay to use those. You don't want to be using their newest edition of the magazine or newspaper that they're reading. So we're going to go and get started, and I'm going to use the red construction paper. So we're going to start out by making the boat. So just as I showed y'all, this is kind of what your end product will look like. So let's go ahead and get started. You will also need a pair of scissors if you already don't have a square sheet. So origami starts out typically with a square sheet of paper, but not everyone has a square sheet of paper. So I have a rectangle right here. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is take the top right corner of your paper and just fold it across, making a triangle so that you can align on this side. So I'm going to go ahead and do that one more time, just so you guys get a chance to see it. Take the top, you can take the top right or top left corner. I know the image sometimes flips on Facebook, but I'm holding my top right corner. I'm just going to go ahead and align it on the side so that these lines over here match up. So once you go ahead and do that, once you see it's all aligned, go ahead and give that a good crease. I'm going to go ahead and tilt my camera a little bit so you can see it if I'm doing down here on the table. Awesome, awesome. So go ahead and give that a crease. So that way we have a triangle right here. Awesome. That's our triangle. Now what you're going to do is you're going to go ahead and you see this little rectangle over here at the bottom. What we're going to do is we're going to fold it inward. So fold it just like that. Okay, you can go ahead and put it down right here. You're going to fold it, just fold that rectangle along the crease. Make a good crease there. Now what we're going to do is we have this crease right here, right under the triangle. So we made a big triangle, now we have the little rectangle. We made a crease with the rectangle. What we're going to do is we're going to take our handy dandy little scissors. Make sure you be careful with them. Sometimes they can be sharp, so if you need some help, it's all right to ask your parents or just make sure someone's watching you while you use it. Make sure you keep your fingers a little away from where you're cutting. So we're cutting right here along this line that we just created, right here. Awesome, awesome. Let's go and cut that right there. Perfect. I didn't cut as close as I'd like. So if you can see when they overlap, there's still a little bit of gap. So I'm going to go back and make sure that my cut is as close as it can be to the first line, which is the top layer of our triangle. Okay, so we're going to keep cutting. Awesome. And at the end of this, you will see that we now have a lovely square. So we can begin folding and learning how to do a boat. Awesome. So the first step to making a boat is you are going to go ahead and fold it halfway. So it's called hot dog style. So you're just going to fold it just like that in half. So you're going to make 2 rectangles. Okay, so once you got that folded hot dog style, we're going to go ahead and fold it one more time to make it a square. So we're just going to fold it right in between, and we're going to make a square. Perfect. So now that we have our square, you're going to see that there's a tip to the square, a point, and then there's 4 little flaps. So you're going to want to hold it at the tip so that you can see all these 4 flaps. Okay? So once you're holding it like that, and you see all these 4 flaps, which are 4 different tiny squares, we're going to take one flap. It doesn't matter if you take it from this side or this side, just take one flap. And you are going to take the one flap that you do and fold it downward so that it meets the tip where you were holding it. I'm going to show that one more time. So you're going to take one flap, doesn't matter which side, just hold it down, pull it down so that it meets this tip. And then we're going to press down. Just going to put it down for a second so that I can press down on it. So now we have one folded square, which then became a rectangle, and then we still have 3 little flaps over here, right? 1, 2, 3. So we're going to do with all 3 of these flaps. So we're going to hold all 3 together, right? We're going to hold them with both of our hands. We're going to put it down on our table and fold it backwards. I'm going to show that one more time so you understand what I'm doing. So remember how we folded one flap and it became triangle, and we had 3 more flaps left, so we're going to hold all 3 of them, push them backwards. So that way we have 3 triangles to one side and 1 triangle to the other side. Okay, now what we're going to do is we are going to, now that we have this, we're going to put 2 of our thumbs inside this little pocket that it makes. So to see where the pocket is, I'm going to show you one more time. So we have 3 triangles over here on one side, and we have 1 triangle over here. But if you flip them over to the long side, the longest side of the triangle that we have a little teensy tiny, almost looks like a slit at this point over here, which you're going to want to do. So you're going to want to put your fingers right inside that little slit and then pop it outward. So let me show that one more time because I know this step is a little tricky, but it's not super tricky. So we have 3 flaps, 1 flap, we have a little slit. We're going to hold it on the longest side, put our fingers inside of it, and pop it outward. And now we have this pretty looking diamond. So we're going to press down on it. So you can see the flaps that we made. We can see a little flap over here. We can see 1 flap here, and we can see 3 little flaps here. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to hold down right here. And this step is a little tricky too, so watch carefully, and then I'll do it one more time, okay? What we're going to do is we're going to hold down on the little flappy part of it, so you can see how it like moves just a little bit. So we're going to hold down on those parts and pull, 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 pull. And what do we have? We have a boat here. So we're going to do that one more time so that everyone gets a chance to see it and follow along. So we have this little diamond. What we're going to do is we're going to hold the sides of it and pull, pull, pull. And there we have it. We have a little boat. So you can see this little part is just sticking up. So what we're going to want to do is put our fingers inside of here so that we can push it out a little bit and push down on the boat. There we go. And then sometimes you have to just like crease it a little bit at the bottom so that it can stay, because construction paper is a little thicker than origami paper. But there we have it. We have our boat. And you just did your first origami activity and you made a boat. So here we have it. We have a little boat. Now what you're going to do is we are going to make a lantern. So like I showed y'all earlier, this is what your lantern is going to look like. Here's a little smaller one. That's what it looks like. And what we're going to do is we're going to take another piece of paper and make a lantern. So go ahead and grab a rectangle piece of paper, like the beginning, we said that you need square pieces of paper to do origami. If you don't have it, don't worry. You can just take a rectangle piece of paper, and we're going to do what we did at the beginning to make a triangle and then make it a square, so that we have a square piece of paper to get started. So if you already have a square piece of paper, just hold on to it. You don't need to do this step, but if you have a rectangle, we're going to go ahead and get started. So we're going to, again, take any top corner of the paper that you want and go ahead and try to make a triangle out of it, and make sure that these lines over here are lined up. Awesome. So we have that. Ooh, that didn't line up quite right. So we're going to fix that. So we want to make sure that the tip is like lined up, so you can see both these lines right there. Just going to go down and keep creasing it. Awesome. And then what we're going to do is we have a folded triangle and we have a little rectangle here. So just like before, we're going to go ahead and fold it inward. And once we have that fold going, we're going to take our piece of scissors. Be careful with them again. And we are going to cut along this crease that we created. Go ahead and cut along the crease that we made. So we're separating the rectangle from this folded big triangle that we have. Remember, we want to try to cut as close as we can to the lines, but make sure you're watching your fingers. Don't accidentally cut your fingers. Okay, so we're going to keep cutting. We're almost done. Perfect. Okay, so now you can see we have this separate square. We don't need, so we're going to put it on the side for now. And here is our square. So for those of you who had a square, now you can start folding with us. And for those of you who didn't, now you do. So what we're going to do for this one is we have this little line that we already created. So we had this crease that we created, and it makes two triangles. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take the opposite side. So for example, if your crease starts up top here, you're going to hold on to this top. And what you're going to do is create a crease that goes the opposite direction. So basically, you want to make an X with both of your creases. So we have this one. So you're going to hold on to the other side that doesn't already have a crease, and then you're going to fold onto it. So I'm going to show you how to do that and make a triangle. So we fold just like that on the opposite side and make an X. So I'll show y'all what we did back there. We just folded the other side so that we can make a little X, and now we have an X. So we fold it one way for the triangle initially before we cut it, and then we fold it the other way. So now we have two creases and we make a little X. Now what we need to do is you can take any corner, take your pick out of 4, pick any corner that you want, and you're going to take that corner and try to touch it at the middle of the X. So you can put it down if that's easier to fold that way. And you're going to take, so I'm going to pick this corner and take this corner and just fold it into a triangle so that it can meet the middle of the X that we just created. So I'm going to hold that up and show it to y'all. So that's how I did that. And we're going to keep folding and repeat that with all the other sides. So here we go. What we're going to do, again, take the tip of any corner and try to make it so that it meets the middle of the page where the X is. So we're going to do that again. Just do that just like that. Perfect. So we have 2. We're going to repeat that with the other 2 sides. And there we have it. We have 4 triangles that all fold in to the middle of the X that we originally created. Now that we have this, we are going to go ahead and flip over our paper. So the side of the paper that we're going to be folding right now is the blank one. Okay? So we're going to put down our paper so that our blank side, the one that we can't see any folds, we can see a little X going here, but we can't see any of the folds. So we're going to make sure that we put this side up as we put it down on our piece of paper. So here we're looking at this plain piece of paper, and we're going to do pretty much the exact same step that we just did. So we're going to take Take any corner that you want, and take that and make a triangle and make sure that this tip meets in the center. So again, you can see that here it's pretty visible and clear what the center is. So we're going to take a corner and point it inwards and make sure we press down on that fold. So it'll look something just like this, similar to the fold that we just made. So we're going to go ahead and keep doing that with all the other sides. So over here we have 2 folds so far. We're going to keep going, 2 more to go, almost there. And there we go. So now we have 4 folds on this side. So we did all the 4 folds. Now what we're going to do is we're going to flip it one more time. So over here you can see 4 little squares. So some of you may know that if you stop at this step, you can get a fortune teller. So I'm going to show you real quick. So you see these 4 squares. If you just fold along the half of it, make it a hot dog style like we did earlier. See how that's a hot dog? That's called hot dog style. So you're going to fold it halfway. And if you fold it one more time, it becomes a little square. So if you stop at this step, you can put your fingers into these little pockets right here. And do that for all the pockets. You will have a little fortune teller. But guess what? That's not what we're going to make. So we're going to keep going and go back to making our lantern. So we're going to, if you did end up making a fortune teller and you want to keep it, that's perfectly okay. But if you want to keep going with us and go on to make the lantern as promised, we are going to keep going. So we're just going to unfold this step, which really just means that you're going to take out your fingers back from this and fold it back down. So back to where we were with the lantern. We have 4 little squares. I'm trying to see if you can see that properly. So we have 4 little squares over here. What we're going to do is we're going to do pretty much what we did on the last 2 folds. We're going to fold it, take the tip, and make sure that it meets in the center. So this time at the center, we already have some folds. So that's easier to see where the center is. We're going to take a tip and point it inward. You can choose any tip that you want, any corner that you want to start with, and go ahead and point it inside. So there's one right there, and we're going to go ahead and keep doing it with the other 3 ones. Awesome. Y'all are doing great. Cool beans. Okay, so again, we have 4 folds that all lead to the inside. So what we're going to do is we're going to flip it over one more time. This is the last time, I promise. No more flipping over after this. And what you can see over here is little squares that have a line running across them, which makes them look almost like a little diamond or a square with 2 little stars. My bad, not stars, 2 little triangles in there. You know what I was trying to say. So what we are going to do from here, so we're so close to making our lantern, we just have a simple little 2 folds here. But this one's a little complicated, so make sure you watch, and then I'll do it one more time so that y'all can remember, know what I did. So over here, what you're going to do is, you see how we have these lines running across, right? So you can pick any side. I'm going to go ahead and pick maybe this one. I'm going to go ahead and do this one. What you're going to do is you are going to slip one of your fingers right under there. So we saw the line, where the line was, and you can put any finger, just slide it right under there. So we've opened a little pocket. But now what we're going to do is we're going to take the same finger, or another one, whatever's easiest for you, and slide it under the other side. So that way we open up one whole square. And so we open up, so we have these pockets. Now what we're going to do is we're going to press down on it so that it makes a little rectangle. So I'm going to show you how we did that one more time because I know it's a little complicated. So, but what you're going to want to do is, so I'll show you how to do that one more time. So we have a line going down. So you're going to take a finger and slide right under the line. And you're going to repeat that same little slide. So you see how there's a little line right here, which was the line that they shared. And you're going to go ahead and put either that same finger or another finger right under it, and you'll open it to see a little pocket. So when you see the pockets, you're going to go ahead and press down on it. So now we have a little rectangle. So this is half of our lantern. But to make the other half, we're just going to go ahead and flip it all the way around and do the same thing with the square that was parallel to this rectangle that we just created. So parallel means just the one that runs right across from it. So this one. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this one, and you see how it has a line going down there. We're going to do the same thing. We're going to slide our finger right under it. We made a little pocket. Now what we're going to do is slide our finger on the other side of that to make a bigger pocket and press down on it to make a rectangle. And guess what? There it is. We have our little lantern. So I'll show you the ones that I've made before today. So if you want, you can use funky colors. You could also take this time to go ahead and decorate it with some crayons or color pencils or markers. But it's a super fun and super simple activity. Y'all followed along, so I know that you guys can do this. But yeah, feel free to make a bunch of boats so that you can have a bunch of boats together. Look at that. We can have a whole army of boats just hanging out and having fun together. Where's the red one? There we go. We have so many boats. You can make a bunch too. And we also have a bunch of lanterns that we just made. You can repeat it. You can repeat it with smaller pieces of paper like Post-its. But I am so glad that y'all joined in, and I hope you had fun learning how to make some boats and lanterns. Hope you have a great rest of your day, and don't forget to tune in to other activities that we're going to be doing later today. See y'all, guys!